The following program contains scenes and language of a frank and explicit nature. Discretion is advised.
Guys,
Guys.
do you know what I was just doing? It was sci-fi noises. It was a little bit of sci-fi like freeform, kind of like, you know,
Nano.
a little bit less Mork, more Mindy, but yeah. That's exciting. The world has been crazy the last few years, but especially the last week or so. Fucking Chinese spy balloons. There's here we go. There's UFOs being shot down all over the country. I mean, they're definitely UFOs technically.
Okay, I take that
technically.
But you get to come back, you got to reverse it.
Oh.
So we thought, we haven't talked to our friend Frank the engineer in a really long time. So we thought, what better time than when, mankind as we know it might be winding down. So please welcome Frank Frank the engineer.
Thank you.
Back to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. It's been a long time. I feel like I haven't seen you in like a year and a half or something.
Yeah, it felt like COVID all over again. It's
yeah,
like,
kind of. It's good to see you. How's life? How you been?
It's
Don't
going
ask
good, man.
that.
What? Don't ask how he's been? Oh, Heidi learned a valuable lesson.
Yes. Before the show, we went through this. Yeah. With all the madness in the world, I think I'm hanging in there, man.
Okay.
Just like everyone else.
Okay, we'll take that. Yeah.
How's your podcast?
My podcast has been on hiatus, but I am trying to, get that started.
Heidi, how about no more questions tonight? Don't ask about his parents.
How are your feet? Are they doing good?
He has gout, Heidi. He has fucking gout.
Well, this trench foot got me pretty good, I'll tell you. But
no cancer still, right? Okay, great.
Well, I got a call today. And,
fuck. Don't worry, it's terminal. Anyway, Frank, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
What have you been up to since we saw you last? Before we get into all this insanity.
Well, like everyone else, I've been...
And happy Valentine's Day, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Happy Valentine's to everyone listening and everyone here in the room. Just been trying to keep up with everything going on. There's just like way too much. Sometimes I feel like I'm just overwhelmed by it. But yeah, there's definitely plenty of things that get me thinking and get me, looking into things and seeing what's going on. Also, there's a new... I'll be hosting a show. But it'll be more like with visuals, not just my radio podcast. So that's in the works currently.
Oh, great.
It's starting to take shape. It'll be in part it'll be a show kind of like West of the Rockies, but a little bit more light.
But in the vein of still the paranormal and the kind of the weird stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we shot 2 episodes. They're looking pretty good. So that should be coming soon. The studio's getting ready and stuff like that. So it's exciting in that regard. So that's part of the reason why West of the Rockies kind of sat back for a little bit. But
please
trying
come back.
to bring it all come back.
Come back and promote once you're up and running. Because I can't wait to hear it.
I'm shocked you don't know my brother-in-law.
So am I.
Ryan Skinner.
His name sounds familiar.
Huh.
Extremely familiar. You say you wrote books, right?
Yeah, all about Skinwalker Ranch.
I gotta look him up. Yeah, I have a stack of books I gotta read and book some interviews and stuff like that. So I'll definitely do it.
Have you been to Skinwalker Ranch before?
I have not. I have a friend who's been out there. I think it was out there for a TV show, and he confirms. Once you get there, there's definitely something going on, whether it's like ley lines or some type of vortex or whatever. But
my sister saw the craziest shit.
The big wolf. I heard of a massive wolf.
Didn't she see like a? Oh, sorry. You tell it.
She saw a portal open up in the sky, but before that, there was this woman that's part of the is it the Ute tribe? Ute tribe that's out there. Yeah. And she's one of the. She's not the. There's a chief, and then she's the. Not witch. She's like the shaman girl.
Gotcha.
That goes on and does the prayers and stuff. She told my sister, "You're gonna see a lot more." Because you have American Indian blood in you. And my sister's like, no, I don't. She goes, no, you do. And then 7 months after that, we found out that from my dad's side, he didn't know his family. And we come from the Montauk tribe. So I have like 13% American Indian blood in me.
Oh, that's
a
awesome.
very
Isn't
high
that
amount.
cool?
That's a high
13%. I think
double digits.
I tried to go, but I think it has to be higher to get like schooling and money.
Yeah. You want to get that scratch. It's hard. It's hard. I can't imagine it'd be easy to find something more than 13% nowadays.
Yeah. Then that's what. And then my boyfriend, he made fun of me, of course. And he's like, "Oh, please." But if you look at my dad and my sister, and my cheekbones, it's the cheekbones that sort of, Jesus Christ. Can you turn that down a little bit?
Yeah.
Thank you. And but anyhow, she saw a portal open. She saw out of the portal 2 orbs, huge orbs, come out of it, and then they don't know where they went. And then one time, it was during the day, and they said you can't drink or do drugs when you're on there. She was there with Ryan, so it was, her boyfriend at the time. And they said, be careful of any fights that you guys have, because whatever is out there feeds off that, and it could intensify, could do some weird shit. Oh my God, you scared me. Hey. So they said to clear everything out of your head. So there, she was all alone at one point by this like creek, and she heard angels singing, like a choir of angels.
Hallelujah!
It was it's just nuts what they. But my brother-in-law has seen a lot of stuff, and it's so cool.
May I ask Frank a question? I want to know Frank's thoughts on orbs. What do you think? Yeah. What do you think about orbs? And then I'll tell you that I think they're bullshit. But please go ahead.
Well, are we talking about the orbs people find when they're ghost hunting, or like the orbs?
Let's go. Let's break them down.
Okay. Orbs inside an abandoned place. I mean, it's hard to say, with any
it's
certainty.
Dust going past a light source.
I mean, I'm sure people have captured some interesting orbs that they could defy that explanation, but I think 99% of them, yeah, absolutely, dust particles.
Okay.
As far as orbs in the sky, and from what I've heard from other people that are definitely better versed than I am on the topic, I think I agree that 90% of the orbs that people are likely to see in the sky are either satellites or
satellites.
I'll get to it.
Okay.
They're top secret projects. Like a few years ago, a lot of people were seeing like 2 orbs, flying around. And actually, a friend of mine actually even saw them on Sunset Boulevard, like stuck in traffic, and he sent me the video.
Like how are they? Are they moving around each other, or are they in unison?
Like they're in unison, kind of. And some people claim to see a third one, kind of giving that triangle formation.
Of course.
But it turns out that apparently it was some type of top secret, like surveillance, like satellite or something like that. That apparently
was it close
works
to the ground, though?
This particular one was pretty high up, so I'm inclined to believe that it was at a pretty high altitude. However, it was bright enough that you could see it. But yeah, so this satellite, I guess, it's made up of 2 components, and they kind of fly in tandem. So that's what I mean. That there's a lot of stuff out there that we're just not privy to.
I'm surprised that anyone would confuse something high up in the sky, like in space, with an orb, because orbs, I feel like, are usually seen within like 20 feet of you or 30 feet of you, and but interesting.
Those are, and those orbs, I think, fall in that 10% that we just can't explain.
Okay.
So
there's a lot of them in Wisconsin. We saw one that was red, and it was loaded like ground. Like we were sitting out in the backyard, and it came down out of like the sky, went in front of us, and everyone was just quiet. We didn't say a word. And the way it moved was like really fast and back, and really fast and back, and we all saw it.
Because it's such a weird thing, and it's like a shape and like you just don't know how big they are. Could you get a sense of how far away it was or the size of it? Or is it so foreign you just can't even
Well, it's like from
gauge
here
distance.
to the street. Like if we were looking at the
Oh, it's
street.
like 50 feet.
It wasn't that far away, and it just looked like
How big? Like a.
It looked like, you know how in the yards people have those, especially in the Midwest, they have these like the stand with that blue ball on it. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Oh, have you ever seen those before?
Those,
It's
classic Midwestern blue ball stands.
But it just looked like that. It looked like if you reached out, it would be like molten lava or something. Like if you put your hands in it, it'd be like.
Go back to this blue ball stand thing. I'm as intrigued with that as UFOs.
Have you ever seen?
What
They're
is it?
like
No, but what is
decorations
it?
in the front yard. Is like a stand that goes
Like a lollipop?
up, and then no, it's like a stand, and then there was like this blue ball on it.
What is the point of it?
I don't know. It's like pretty. It's like a
It's
a
not
decoration.
like
big.
during snowstorms, people will put stuff on the edge of their driveway to know where the edge of the driveway is. It's not like a driveway marker.
No, it's like right up front. It's like a decoration.
No, child. No, child.
No. It was like a decoration. Did I say it like that?
Well, just then you're very no, child. You're very southern.
No,
Yeah.
that thing is scaring me. I'm having. I have PTSD really bad. I was putting
Describe what's scaring you.
the face of you. That's like whatever that is. The mask with the. But every time I look
someone
around,
did a life cast of me and then made my own Leatherface mask out of my face.
Impressive.
Yeah.
Do you want to see it?
What's that?
You can see it in my shop.
Go for it.
it scares me though.
Go for it. Yeah, that's me.
Anyhow, sorry.
Just let it comfort you.
Blue balls. But yeah, they're
What?
like, it's like a yeah, no, it's like a shiny blue thing. And you guys,
You're gonna have to Google it, and so we can
I'll show
put it
you.
in the picture of the
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah.
Can we get into what's going on lately?
Yeah.
Should we dive right in and then
Let's
kind of
do it,
circle back
yeah.
to some other stuff? So, on February 4th, there was that Chinese spy balloon,
Right.
which is like pretty clearly people understand that's a Chinese spy balloon to gather
Fucking
intel.
shoot it down in Montana. I don't fucking understand. That's the stupidest thing ever. Anyhow,
Well,
Anyhow, go
because it
on.
could have hurt people.
Bullshit. Montana.
Nobody lives in Montana.
Do you
Come
know
on.
where Montana? That's what pisses me off. And the funny thing is, not to point my finger like
You can point. It's fine.
Karen.
Yeah.
Karen.
Just lean into it.
I saw this person that's a kind of a famous comic that I know that I've talked about her before, and she came into the restaurant I work at, and she's very like non-conspiracy, not that that's a conspiracy, but very like, what's the word? Little left, like way left, or you know what I
Okay.
mean? Like not
Okay.
like she would never say anything. And she's like, "Why didn't we shoot it down in Montana?" And I looked at her, I'm like, "Right." And it's just, yes, of course, it's huge. It would hurt, but it's Montana. And where it was, it's a fields.
True. But by the time it comes down to the ground, there could be somebody in the field, and you don't know if wind is going to move it to a house.
So
But-
fucking what? You get out of the way. You know what I mean?
How do you-
No, but the
You say
government
that-
will go in, and the army
s-
will go in and do what they can. Hey, everybody leave. It's coming down. Okay, it's coming down here. Like,
But it does.
but it went over fucking all the, you know, it's going over the
went over Missouri and all over the East Coast, but
all over. I mean,
it doesn't pose a threat when it was that high. So they
think
have,
of all the data they just got.
but they blocked it. They were blocking it from sending data.
Who said that?
That's what I was reading today.
Oh, you believe everything you read right now?
I believe less
I
than
don't
you
believe
believe.
a fucking thing the government says anymore. That's bullshit.
No, but
because
you,
they
but
want
you,
to say.
but you believe all the other
Exactly.
wild stuff.
Exactly. Okay, go on.
But in the middle is where we're trying to get to. A
Okay,
little
I'm
bit.
sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
So they claimed that they weren't concerned about it as much because they were blocking it from sending the signal back. Had you heard that yet?
Yeah, I heard a bit about that.
they didn't even know what it was at first. You know what I mean?
Well,
like, how
hold
did
on. They didn't tell us they knew what it was. The government knows far more than they let us believe that they know. I think we can all agree with that. Like they probably knew what it was before we did. I'm sure they know what these other craft are, but they're not letting people know. But apparently they were blocking it from sending the information back to China. And then once they have recovered, we're not going to get anywhere tonight.
I'm just kidding.
I've been doing an impression of Heidi the whole show. She's in her mind. She goes, "These fucking sheep. They're all sheep. They're all sheep. Believe in it."
You want to put on your mask while we do the talk show? I'm just kidding.
Oh, so good. So
just kidding.
spy balloon is kind of not as interesting as the other shit, right? I would say.
Can I just say, on Friday when I looked at my phone at work, I had to walk outside. I had a panic attack. I was like, "What you wrote me?"
Oh, which one? About what?
Because I didn't know what
about the UFOs?
happened. I didn't know that they had found another one.
Let's pause for 1 second,
Yeah.
and I want to take care of something real quick, and then we'll be back and we'll talk about the more UFO sightings.
Sweet, is it my attitude?
No, I'll talk to you after the show, lady. Okay, we're back. Sorry about that. So we agree. Do we agree that you don't care about the Chinese spy balloon at all?
Not at all. Well, I
May I? You're gonna freak out later if I don't fix your hair. There you go. I'd have to edit the entire show, put a fucking smiley face emoji over you the whole time. Okay, bring in industrial light and magic. You're good. Frank, your thoughts on the Chinese spy balloon?
Yeah, I mean that was totally. I mean they claim responsibility for it, so
It's not as sexy as
No, but they
what we're
didn't.
about to get into. Well,
they
couldn't really not.
They were
couldn't
like,
really
it wasn't
deny
a
it.
spy balloon. It was just a weather balloon. It
Oh,
veered
right.
off course. We're sorry, but we're kind of mad that we're kind of mad that you destroyed it. Though.
Right.
We wanted it back.
Oh, did they say that?
Yeah.
They're upset about it? Well,
Yeah.
don't fucking fly it over our territories, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, I mean,
Here it is. Getting the fucking Heidi eye. I'm gonna try.
I could sense. Yeah,
I'm gonna start spelling your name Heyedi. Heidi. What are you doing with your face?
I don't know.
Are you disgusted with this conversation?
No, not at all. I'm just like thinking like something that doesn't make sense.
What do you feel? Talk us through it.
One of the things that there was the general who I'll have to look up his name and stuff, but he was the one who said that they have been preparing for a war with China for years now, for like 5 years, six years.
We know that, yeah.
No, okay, so it just I just don't understand any of it.
You can't just say you don't understand it and not
I'm
explain.
fine. I just don't I don't understand why they shot it, why they didn't shoot it down in Montana. I understand that it was big and that if it would have fallen, it's like cement, and I get it. It could have killed people.
Well, it's like scaffolding and cement. All kinds of shit in there.
It's falling so slow that they can sort of like, make sure. And there's other things that they can do to make sure it falls in this field right here, or a mile, or it's Montana. In Nebraska, have you ever been out there before?
I have. You have.
Fucking nothing out there.
But it was also 60,000 feet in the sky. So by the time they shoot it, who knows where it could end up.
It was that far up?
Yeah, 60, and that's why they were ignoring it. Because if it's over 40,000 feet, it doesn't really pose a risk to like airline jets. So that's why they can like just monitor it and see where it goes. And that's why they started shooting down the other ones this week, because they were like between 20 and 40,000 feet, which is like where we fly. So those are
45,000 feet.
Well, one of them was at 20,000 feet. It went from 40 to 20 in a very short amount of time, which is weird. Mm-hmm. So, okay, I feel like you're about to corner me into something. I don't know what your intentions are here. But the spy balloon, 60,000 feet, it stayed that way across all of America. And then once it was over the water, they're like, fuck this, let's take it down now. So the second one, February 10th, which is just 4 days ago.
All right.
Wait, when was that balloon? The 3rd?
February 4th.
The 4th. Okay.
So 6 days later is when we got the first news that they shot down a UFO over Alaska, which is like
weird.
The headlines were just like, wait, what?
Right.
Like,
Weird.
yeah,
it was just
a
weird that
UFO.
it was all of a sudden
Right.
yeah.
And
I have the picture. Of
we're
it.
not. What do you mean?
My brother-in-law sent me. So he has friends. I don't know if I'm supposed to show this or not.
Well, we won't show it on camera, but I definitely
I'll
want
show
to.
you. This was what his buddy sent.
I'm gonna.
Because
I saw this online.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So it looks like a car. It looks like a.
As of today, have you seen that picture, Frank?
Oh yeah. Somebody posted it on Facebook.
I only saw it once. It's a weird, grainy picture. I'm weary of it, but I want it to be real because it's fucking interesting.
Did you see it?
Let me show it to her without showing the camera. I don't know if we're actually it's online, so we can fucking see it.
Yeah.
As of today, they had a press conference today again, and they said that so far they've recovered none of them.
Bullshit.
I feel that way too, but also
Bullshit.
they did fall in the middle of like mountains and in the snow.
Lake Michigan? There's no mountains
No,
there.
not Lake Michigan.
Oh,
that one.
over
That
there?
that one went in the water. That one went in the water.
How convenient.
Can you believe any of it?
I believe it because at first I'm like, oh, this is awesome. But then I talked to my brother-in-law and he started to talk about Werner von Braun, who I had no fucking clue who this guy was. This guy was
Operation Paperclip guy, right?
But he actually, NASA was founded by Eisenhower, right?
Yes.
But the United States went and got all these German like scientists, brought
They were
them
Nazi
over here.
scientists. I mean, they were literally Nazis.
Yes.
And that was part of the deal. Is like you won't be prosecuted, basically, but come work because you
Right.
you guys did some pretty good at what you do.
And this guy's IQ was like 200 or something, like 190.
That's it?
And
Sounds like an idiot to me.
he's the guy who basically put man on the moon. Like he created that rocket science, right? Like rocket science, rockets. So he's known as the father of NASA or rockets, right? Am I saying this right?
Yeah.
I keep looking at you. I'm like,
The father of rocketry or whatever. Yeah.
So on his dying bed, he was dying of cancer in 77 or in 74, but he lived for 2 years. His assistant taped and wrote down all this stuff, and he claims that there will be like the final card that I don't understand this part, but like the world, like the new world order, whatever. The what's it also called? The
NWO, which is the New World Order,
Yeah,
like
or it
the
was-
Illuminati and all kinds of bullshit.
not Illuminati,
bullshit,
but there's another name that he said, and he said there will be a fake alien invasion. And I was like, what? And when he told me this on Sunday, I was like, oh, please, come on. Because on Sunday was the Lake Michigan one. I was like, what the fuck is happening? And I was like, almost like a little, like, I filled my car with gas. Mm-hmm. And I was like, if I have to get out of here and drive to Wisconsin, I'm like, wait, they're in Lake Michigan. Ah, like, what am I going to
If they are aliens, and if it is let's say if the aliens want to kill us or the government, they'll find you in
That's true.
in Wisconsin as well.
But he also said, if it is what we think it is, if it's what, it's an alien, they wouldn't fucking cover this at all. Look at Roswell. They said, it was a Chinese weather balloon. That's what they told. That's what they said.
Not Chinese.
It's one of
but
ours.
Well, they said it was a weather.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Chinese weather balloon.
It says Mitsubishi right on it. Look at that thing. We're not stupid, pal.
Although Mitsubishi is Japanese, but
Oh, whatever.
But they said the same thing. But I'm just saying that it makes sense that we wouldn't know a fucking thing. Mm-hmm. They haven't told us anything. So why would they tell us, oh, there's another one up in like Michigan? Nobody saw it. We didn't see it. They told us that. In Alaska, Canada. Mm-hmm. What? Is it to get us all fucking together? And so we're like, yo, what's this? We're headsmen. And it all fucking makes sense. And then there's a documentary called The Cosmic Hoax that you have to fucking watch because, oh my God, it's insane. Anyhow, I don't know what to believe.
Well,
that's all I'm saying.
Conspiracy Corner.
Have to.
I read it online, so it must be true. Conspiracy Corner.
It's not a conspiracy anymore.
I heard it from a friend of a friend of a friend of a conspiracy.
It's true.
It is true.
It's true. It's all
true.
It's not a conspiracy theory. It's a conspiracy.
Tell by the way that I feel.
Talking to your fucking microphone.
I got too tall. What happens? So we all gather, and then what?
That's
One world government. So that's what they're supposedly trying to do. The Schwab. What's his name? Not Charles Schwab. What's his name? Klaus.
Cotton Schwab.
Klaus.
oh, you got me on that one.
Klaus Schwab.
Santa Claus. Santa Claus.
Like the huge guy. The huge.
Klaus
rich-
Klaus.
What's his name?
Not the Rothschilds, not the.
But
not,
all of those guys.
Okay, all of them.
But it's Klaus.
Not Warren Buffett.
These are
Not Warren. Klaus Schwab.
all these things that you're saying. Like I used to like really enjoy these stories, and I've read about so many of them. But that whole plan has been talked about and on the verge of happening for like I feel like 40 years. like these kind of stories have been happening.
Well, I mean, look at how it's happening. I mean,
But also,
listen,
I think,
if you,
in order for that to work, I think people have to believe there's an alien invasion, and I don't think most people think it's aliens. I don't know. If
I thought it was. I think
you
it,
read-
I really, when you sent me that text, I was like, what is this? And then the next one happened. I called my sister, and she goes, I can't talk about it right now because it gives me a panic attack. And I'm like, why? What do you think? And she goes, we don't know. So her and my brother-in-law, that moment in time, were like,
That's
what
the
the hell
key.
is happening?
that's the most important thing is that. Well, let's finish the timeline here.
Okay.
And then we'll go through like what the possibilities are, because I do want to just open all discussion to all this. This is, like I said to Heidi before the show started, this is her time to shine. She's been trying to have this show for 2 years with like all of her, and then the fucking tinfoil hats, and they're trying to poison the bubblegum and Halloween candy.
Listen, have you ever seen Loose Change? Have you seen Loose Change?
I've seen all 3
So-
or
9/11 one?
revisions.
9/11. Just
We can't. We
watch
gotta
it.
stick to one
I'm just
conspiracy at once.
saying. I'm just saying. Watch it.
Is that the one-
whole
is that the
fucking
one with,
the whole country came to?
Silver, with who's the guy?
No,
the
not
actor.
Michael Moore.
No, not that one.
No, there's no actor in that.
Yes, there is. There is. Loose Change
Loose
is the one
Change,
with
there's no actor in it. It's not
Joel
it's not a
Silver or
movie.
some shit. It's a documentary with an actor in it who was in like Lethal Weapon and shit.
I don't recall seeing
Yeah, I don't.
that. Could
I
be
don't
wrong.
think
That
maybe,
might have been-
maybe in the newer one.
That might have been Fahrenheit 9/11. Remember
Yeah,
that
that
one?
was the Michael Moore, I believe.
No,
Yeah, you're talking
Fahrenheit.
about-
No, Fahrenheit 9/11 was the Michael Moore. Fahrenheit 9/11 was the one saying that it was like the government did it and all kinds of whatever the shit. And then there was one called Loose Change with I'll find it later.
Okay.
Loose Change is brilliant, and it was shown to me by a person who never believes in any of the shit, doesn't believe it, but they believe in facts, and they believe in if you have a document or you show me, what is that?
Documents aren't facts, by the way.
Like an agnostic is somebody who I don't believe in God, but if he comes to me and you show me a video of him,
There's a
it's like
document.
that.
There's a document that says Jeffrey Epstein killed himself. There's a
Well,
document.
not
that says that.
a document. I just mean that if you watch that, these are fucking facts. They fucking took out all the gold. I'm just saying that the government can do a lot of shit. Like they killed off the American Indians, my people. They killed off. No, but I'm
Holy fucking shit.
no, but
Dude,
they
you've been Indian for
smallpox.
you've been
13%.
Native American for a week and a half. You can't get to claim it like in our casinos and our teepees and our fucking peace
I
pipes.
was joking. But
My
seriously,
people.
but they
This
can do a
fucking
lot
asshole.
of things. Look at what they did to the black people and the shots, and
Oh,
it's just
man.
ridiculous. So to think that our government, they wouldn't do that to us. No, they wouldn't.
I don't think-
You
I'm not
fucking
saying
kid.
that.
I don't trust anybody anymore. That's just because I'm old.
Question for Heidi. Have you seen Dark Secrets inside of Bohemian Grove?
No.
Okay.
Dude, you're gonna make
After
her
she
wet.
watches-
You're gonna keep
What
making her
is
wet.
this?
You keep
What
telling her
is
stuff like
this?
that.
After she watches that, I have to tune into the show that
Okay.
follows after.
Okay,
because
okay.
I'm
Can you
sure
tell
she's
me
going to come in
again?
here and
What is it? Dark what?
Dark Secrets inside Bohemian
She's
Grove.
gonna leave mid show to go home and watch it.
But I'm gonna start watching it now. What are you talking about?
You guys carry on. I'll be
What is it? Dark Secrets inside Bohemian what?
Grove.
Grope?
Grove.
Orange Grove.
Is this a porn?
I
Oh,
believe.
sorry. That was an accident. I swear to God.
Why did that play? See,
you can't trust anybody.
See?
Yeah,
What?
I do have to give a little bit of a advisory. This documentary was made by Alex Jones before he went full
Alex
Alex
Jones.
Jones. All right, because he
I'm
lost
not
me.
mad at Alex Jones, but he's a little.
I am a little bit. He
crazy.
lost me. But this was probably like his magnus opus in a way. Yeah. Like I just watched this.
This is what happens when someone has a crazy idea and they get a lot of like positive feedback for it, and then they go fucking nuts.
I think
Yeah.
you're right.
I do. I
think
mean,
you're right.
Yeah.
You get a little bit of like, oh, people, in a way, political people who get a little piece of power, a little piece of like, oh, someone latched onto that. I'm just going to do this nonstop. And
Right.
Trump did it. It got crazier and crazier because people got a response.
Well, I see that with YouTubers a lot. It's
I think I
like,
say with me. Okay.
with you too, Dan.
Thanks, Frank.
Yeah,
Did you
just-
when you were 3?
You are free to go.
Fucking happens.
Okay. So February.
You were saying to you, I was like, oh shit! All of a sudden, my chair just goes back.
Okay, motherfucker. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Good to have you here, motherfucker. Okay, so February 10th is the one shot down over Alaska. And like the headline was like basically a UFO shot down. But it's deceiving because a UFO by definition is an unidentified flying object. We all jump to aliens and that's such an exciting thing to do. But it was interesting until like, 1 day later is when they shot down another one over Canada. And that one, Trudeau asked the U.S. asked Biden to come look at this thing and shoot it down.
He's
right?
a shady fuck. I loved him at first.
Trudeau?
I thought he was this handsome fucking Kennedy. He's a fucking shady
a New World
guy.
Order puppet.
He's a fucking. He took out.
Frank knows what he's doing here. If Frank is making fun of this shit, you know things are bonkers.
Listen.
Frank's like, this chick's fucking crazy.
No, but do you know what he did?
No, please tell us.
He actually froze the truckers who were in that line. Look, I understand that they blocked some fucking shit and okay, but he froze their fucking bank accounts.
Good.
So their families couldn't fucking eat.
Fuck 'em.
Bullshit.
Fuck them.
So stupid.
Do
They
your
were gonna lose their jobs because they weren't gonna get the fucking vaccine.
Do your
mandate?
fucking job. Do your job.
Fucking
Get to work, man.
so stupid.
Thank you, Frank. Frank, I'm sorry, but this chick has some crazy idea. I'm kidding. Oh, I support it. Okay, so UFO shot down over Canada
Quick question
by
then.
the U.S. Yeah.
Which of those two? I can't remember if it was the former or the latter, but one of them was supposed to be like octagon shape, right?
That's the newest one. That's the
the-
fourth
okay.
one.
Oh, we haven't gotten to that one yet.
No.
I didn't know that.
okay.
There were 3 shot down. So the first one, spy balloon, we're not going to count that. That was just kind of what?
When you get to the fourth one, my brother-in-law sent me this thing.
Okay, we'll get to the fourth. Wait till we get to the fourth one.
Yeah.
Spy balloon, we don't count. It's just weird that like these things are happening. We haven't shot anything down over the U.S. since Pearl Harbor, I don't think.
Oh, really?
And
What did they shoot down over like a?
Japanese fighter jets.
Okay.
But there's been nothing, I don't think, ever shot down over continental U.S. by our jets. I don't
think you're
believe. It's the first time anything's ever been shot down over America.
Wow.
Over continental U.S. So Canada, that one falls in the mountains. They say it hasn't been retrieved. I agree with you where I find it impossible that they wouldn't have these things picked out of the ground or water within an hour of
It's
them
bullshit.
landing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's bullshit.
I mean, with technology and the stuff they can find and heat signatures or just like, I don't know, if they can find anything they want whenever they want.
Yeah.
And then, February 10th, UFO over Alaska. February 11th, a shot down over Canada. And on the 12th, they shot down another one over Lake Huron in Michigan.
And can I? So there was a thing that my brother-in-law sent me this. The object crossed into the United States sovereign space around 6 Eastern time. But as the evening waned on, officials lost track. Van Herk said NORAD?
He's
Is that what I'm saying?
NORAD. Yeah.
NORAD identified an intermediate radar contact in Montana hours later as it approached Wisconsin. Okay. So around this time, my sister was outside in the hot tub and she took this and she didn't know it was happening. She took these pictures. Go back. There's one and she just saw it in the sky as she's sitting there. And
So
that was around the fucking time.
Was it one solid thing or was that a moving picture? Was that an action shot?
Yeah, she said it was moving.
But is that one thing moving?
Yes, yeah. So it wasn't like a meteorite. She said it went through the air.
I don't know if you know this, but is it flying at is it
I'm
going
not sure.
up
She
an
was in
angle?
the hot tub, so she's taking it like this, so she's coming from her.
That's interesting.
Crazy, right?
Do you see that, Frank?
Yeah. She was showing me this thing, and I had the same question. I was wondering if it was like a one of those I forget what they call the type of pictures, right? What it
A time lapse kind of.
Oh no! It was just she was in the hot tub. She's like, "Holy shit!" and click.
So it wasn't. How long did she see it for?
It was fast. She said.
Okay, so I wonder if that's like a. What I'm asking is if that's like an action shot of like one light making a beam, or if it's like
Let me ask her.
one long solid thing moving through the sky.
Right.
That's interesting.
Let me ask her.
That is definitely strange.
And I know that the jet that shot down the one over Lake Huron came from Madison, I believe. Came from Wisconsin, right?
Yep. Yeah, because the base is right there. So it was close.
Okay. So, Frank, let's get
Yeah.
into it.
All right.
Yeah, so the last one is the one that was octagon shaped.
Okay.
And I'd heard that one was more balloonish or had more balloon qualities or something. I don't know where. I don't remember who There's so much information. It is hard to know, like, well, is this coming from someone who's guessing? Is this coming from someone who was there? The first two that were shot down were supposedly spherical, metallic-ish, and had no propulsion systems that the fighter pilots could see, right?
And was just in the air and wasn't
And someone
floating or anything.
right. Well, they say I heard at one point that one of them was going as fast as the jets were, and then the reports are saying that they're just moving with the wind, which adds to the balloon idea. So I just don't know which one is fucking true. But regardless, one of the pilots was quoted as saying, they didn't give his name, but he said, "We don't know how this thing is staying in the air.
Yeah.
We don't understand how it's staying in the air."
Well, just like that story I told about the woman who was part of the flying tigers or whatever that was called. The pilot said, "I don't want to write this down because it's the FBI, all that has to get involved." And she's like, "You've seen one before," and he goes, "We see them all the time."
Right.
So pilots see this shit all the time.
And
So
those
they're
are the
like,
people. I've always said this is that the accounts that I believe most are from pilots. Anyone, a fighter pilot or even a commercial jet, but whatever, whoever you are, if your job is to be in the sky and recognize what's in the air, I believe you more than any yokel standing on the ground or someone going to the desert to meditate and see aliens. But pilots are where it's at. What are your thoughts, Frank?
In the case of these recent objects, I don't think it's anything extraterrestrial. There's so much going on right now, with Russia and Ukraine, and then you add China into the mix. It's not outside of the scope of possibility that these are just like foreign governments trying to get some info, right? I am, however, disappointed because I always felt like the day that, the government would admit to technology that stands a good chance to not have been made on this planet. I feel like that kind of just came and went, right? We have Commander Fravor.
Yeah, of course.
The Tic Tac UFO. You talk about pilots, and those are the guys you believe. You had a Top Gun
Yeah.
pilot.
Yeah. And
right?
a teacher, right? He was.
He's the guy that trains Top Guns.
Right.
Right? So
He's like
Wait, I don't know about this. Is he the guy that came out and said like
the guy who had the real interaction with that Tic Tac UFO
Right.
in 2004?
I do not know this.
You know what's a Tic Tac?
No.
This is why I'm disappointed then. Because
with
the
her?
news came and went, and people like this. People did
You
not.
people.
The U.S. government.
Native American.
The U.S. government released a video of actual UFOs that they filmed
Yeah.
and a fighter pilot named Commander
Just
Fravor.
recently, right?
It was like 2019, I think it came out, right?
2019.
And
yeah,
it shows
2018.
it's
2019.
black and white, and it shows it like
And
he's
it
like
tilts
whoa,
in
whoa.
and like someone like Bob Lazar. You know who Bob Lazar is?
Yeah.
Bob Lazar had said for years that he couldn't really, but the way these things move as if they're falling. Wherever they're moving, they're falling that way. So it manipulates gravity so it doesn't need engines. It falls where it needs to go. And he said, imagine putting a bowling ball on a mattress. If you push your fist in the middle of the mattress, the bowling ball will fall towards it. So he feels like that's how these UFOs fly, is that they're in a constant state of falling, so they turn towards the fall. And that's what the Tic Tac video does.
Right.
I'll have to see.
But Fravor, did he say that he thinks it's an alien technology, or just he's never seen anything like it, doesn't believe that anyone on Earth has the capabilities?
I don't want to misquote him.
Me either.
So I am not 100% sure, but he was obviously perplexed. You can hear it in the radio transmissions. And he was kind of freaking out a little.
Absolutely.
What with this one?
No, with the 2004
Tic
one.
Tac,
Yeah.
yeah.
He just kept saying, "My God, look at this thing," and they took him a while to track it.
Okay, I have seen,
Yeah,
seen
you've
it, and
seen
he's
it.
like, "What? What is that? Oh, it's moving!" And like he's like, "Wait, what?" Like he kept saying,
They were
"What?"
confused. They were all
Yeah.
confused.
Yeah.
And then with these ones we've been seeing recently, these sound like the ones that have been swarming the warships off the coast of California.
What?
There's been, you know what I'm talking about?
When you say these ones, you mean these recent
The
little
recent ones, these
Well,
like-
you know that outside of Malibu out there, that's where they see a lot
all
of
over the place.
Okay,
well,
okay, go on,
there's
sorry.
thoughts that there's like an underwater UFO
Yeah,
base
yeah. I
was
off
gonna
the coast of Catalina.
Yeah.
I love this shit. Yeah. But there's a bunch of Navy ships, and there's videos come out recently of like these like one craft that goes from the sky just into the water with seamlessly and then comes back out of the water. Like they say these things can come, or transmedian is the term, right?
Yeah,
Where they can
because
go
they
air
go
to sky, air to
to
water,
yeah.
and effortlessly. But there's been some Navy people that work on Navy ships and Navy pilots when they're on. There was 8 or 9 Navy warships in the ocean, and there was like 10 of these craft over each one of the warships, just hovering over there for hours and hours and hours, just sitting there.
What?
And these Navy guys are saying, we see these things every single day, every day, to the point that they almost don't. You still notice them because they're still a threat, but you can't shoot at them. They can't, but they see them every single day.
Do they take big, pictures?
Of course, but
videos?
we're not going to see those yet. But Jeremy Corbell apparently has some of those.
I've heard.
Yeah, some of those things.
Yeah. But so like I said, these objects in the last week or so, I'm not going to say that they're aliens. I'm more concerned, as far as national security, I'm concerned. But I do believe that the news from a few years ago, I hope they're extraterrestrial, because if it's Russian or something, we are done.
If we, the fact
got a good
that
point.
I can't believe that Putin hasn't done anything sooner because of
there was actually a video from Ukraine.
Yeah,
where it looks like they shot down a UFO. I mean, they believe it could be a drone. That would be the logical explanation, but there is this orb of sorts, I guess, that it's just kind of rising slowly, and then you see some like anti-aircraft fire, and then it flashes, and then it just comes down.
For someone who likes this kind of like conspiracy fun stuff, I can't believe you haven't seen that
video.
done the big deep dive into like the current
but
actual
I will now,
factual UFO information.
No, I will.
It's riveting.
But I was thinking too. it could be. I don't want it to be Russia or China or anything like that. But the fact that I did do research on this, the fact that, and I didn't know this, that United States blew up Russia's pipeline, and so Germany now they're not reliant on Russia. So I learned all this, and I was like, wait, that's shitty though. I get it because it's Putin and he calls this war or whatever, but I'd fucking be like, that is it, United States. I'm gonna fucking send all my fucking UFOs in there.
Well, here's another thing.
Because it was over the pipeline. One of those was.
Isn't the word too that like Russian technology is not that great? Like they're still like 20 years in the past as far as what they have.
Supposedly.
There's a reason.
Putin is so secretive. Who knows really what's going on? You got to remember, going back to Wernher von Braun, right? Mm-hmm. When at the end of World War II, you got to remember that the Allies, specifically the U.S. and Russia, they split the rocket scientists. They're like, you take these guys, we take these guys. So the Russians,
I didn't know that.
Were they were
and England got nothing.
England wanted was land. They were actually concerned what the U.S. response was going to be, because what England was going to do, and the French and all the countries affected in Europe was like, hey, we want some of the land that they took over, and blah 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 blah. And they're like, oh, that looks a little feudalistic, like imperialism, blah blah. So England was more concerned in that regard. They're the biggest landowners in the world when you
America's
think about
we just want the stuff.
Give us the and so like I said, Russia being the Iron Curtain to this day, in my opinion, we really don't know what they could be up to, what they could be doing. I know they got some smart people out there.
He fucking poisons people in midair or whatever. The guy's walking through the fucking, and all of a sudden he's dying.
He's made jokes about it because a lot of people fall out of windows around here.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on, but
right.
But I also feel like with Putin, he's such a true egomaniac that if they had wild technology, they would have unleashed it on the Ukraine months and months and months ago, because he's being embarrassed out there. And you'd think he would do anything he would level the place with some super laser or some bullshit.
Yeah. I'm no expert, but it sounds like not everybody is on board on the Putin train.
No, they're not.
Yeah.
So I think that's part of the reason why the war is not going.
It's kind of like a Hitler thing where the people around him, They do stuff because they're scared. Because
Right.
if you push
Totally.
back, he'll just kill you.
Well, that's what this Werner von Braun that I read about, that he was loyal to the Third Reich. Like, he was a loyal because it was his country, but he didn't believe in any of it as it started to get, like, you know, like...
I hate to say
After 5 million Jews, he was out. 6 is just
You know,
too many
no,
for
but
Mr. von
But
Braun.
he, like, supposedly...
Well, I mean, I
allegedly.
I'm in the camp that believes that Werner von Braun should have been tried as a war criminal.
course.
Absolutely,
Because
yeah.
you know
course.
it was his inventions that bombing the
Yep.
not the Germans, the British and stuff
why
like
I
that.
don't-
Kill 11
Why
million,
don't
you don't
trust
get
the
to have a
government?
plea deal.
Right. But it goes to show, right? If you're, I
That's
guess
why I
if
don't
you're
trust the government right there. Oh, well, no, we're not going to try him because he's going to put us on the moon, and he's so, you know...
I'm weary of government, but I don't like. I also trust the government in a lot of ways. I don't like blindly trust or distrust. Like, they're
Oh, damn. Give it 5 more years. You guys get to my age, and you won't believe a fucking thing anybody
Fair
says.
enough.
I'll be 35 in 5 years.
Exactly.
All right, good. So, do you think? I feel like if these new ones are extraterrestrial in origin, I don't believe there's any creatures on there. I wouldn't believe.
Nah.
I think if they were going to do that, they would just send their equivalent of drones out here. Like,
Right.
why they don't need to be manned?
The technology,
Bluetooth, baby.
The technology. I turned into an
fuck?
English person.
Do that intergalactic Bluetooth. Just send them out and do the thing.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's
Allegedly.
allegedly. Pish posh. Oh my god. I'll be quiet.
Hilarious.
I'm sorry. Don't you miss me? No.
Oh yeah, no, totally.
But and also my great uncle, is he my great uncle?
I mean, so.
That did the Integratron. I mean, I sort of I believe in all of it. Of course, I believe it. But
You believe the Integratron exists? I mean, you can go to it. It exists.
yeah, no, I believe that the
I've seen it.
I've seen it,
Vesuvians
yeah.
came down and
Ooh.
and told him what to build. I mean, he worked for what's his name? What's the guy's name that was a germaphobe?
Howie Mandel.
Leonardo DiCaprio played him.
Jesus Christ. From
Howard Hughes.
Catch Me If You Can. Yeah.
Howard Hughes. So he worked
Yeah.
with him. He worked with NASA. He was a smart guy, and he built this thing that's fucking amazing. Have you been there?
I've driven past it. I've been meaning to go for years.
Her family
we should-
built
I know.
it.
Yeah,
We
that,
should-
that was the
we
first
should-
conversation I had with Heidi. I'm like,
We
man,
should
Tesla,
all
right?
go. We should all go.
I would love to go.
So fucking crazy and awesome. But so I believe in it all. And this weekend, after it happened, and then it happened again and happened, that third one over Lake Michigan, I was like, oh no! I was a little I got a little I was a little scared. Not scared, but like, what the fuck is going on?
Well, there's so many levels to it. I mean, it's concerning because it's like things over our airspace that we don't know why they're there.
Right.
Or at least publicly we don't know.
Right.
We have not been reassured enough to not worry about it.
And why all of a sudden is the government saying, why is it news all of a sudden? Do you know what I mean? Like, why? Like, honestly,
There could
none of us would have known.
There could be a chance that they are trying to be more transparent with things going on.
Just kidding.
Fucking sheep.
I'm
These
kidding.
fucking
Yeah, it's
sheep.
all good.
But they also said that like for many years, these things may have been in the air for many years.
Of course.
But they have recently, radar technology gets better and better all the time. They've refocused radar to pick up smaller objects. Before, it was just looking for planes or anything that would have like a payload, any kind of weapon on it. And now they've retuned the radar to pick up things that are the size of a car, which is why they're like, oh, there's a lot of shit up here that we didn't know about.
Right.
Which is a massive national security issue if these information gathering balloons or drones have been around for 5-10 years.
Yeah.
That's a lot of shit they can get. But now they can find stuff that small, and so maybe that's why it's been like 2 a day for the last few days. I don't know.
Right.
Well, they also said that since the Chinese balloon thing that they've refined, that not even just over the last several years, but since the Chinese balloon, they're like, well, fuck, we need to like start honing in.
And that's when they kind of
like
adjusted radar,
week.
and then now they're like, oh, fucking A, they're everywhere. You know?
Yeah. I have another not theory, but I think a few years ago when they came out, I think it was Trump who came out and said, "Oh well, it was Obama." He came out and said that there are UFOs, right? Wasn't it like the declassified? When was that? Was it when Trump was in office?
Sort of. It was 2019 when there was like an official release of like, there are things in the sky that we don't know what they are or where they come from. They didn't say they're aliens, but they said there's definitely things that we cannot explain. And they put together the UAP task force, which is called UAP. What? What's it called again?
AATIP, I believe.
ATIP.
AATIP.
Yes. So it's like now it's like a government sanctioned I mean, the government has been, I think, studying UFOs for 70 years, is my guess. But now there's a public one where they're going to give like a yearly update on what's been going on. And they released their first one. It was supposed to come out in October, and it came out in January. Is that what happened?
I think.
It was a few months late. And so I mean, it really might be a chance to either to be a little bit more transparent, but also keep a lot of shit to themselves.
Right.
You know? It's you give people a little crumb, and maybe that'll make some people happy.
So
I'll take a crumb more than nothing, by the way.
I have thought that they have been preparing us for something, preparing us for this. For hey, there's going to be stuff in the sky now, and just it's real, or it's we don't know what it is. It could be this, and that's what I always thought when I heard about that. When they started to come on, I always thought, oh, they're preparing us for when
the
they
truth.
Yeah, like when they, not that they're gonna come down and beam us, that like make us dust. I don't mean that. I mean they're preparing us that they're gonna be in the sky now, and we're gonna see. Oh, hey, there's
You're gonna love this for your conspiracy thoughts. It's a fun one.
Ooh.
So there's some people are of the opinion that people like Steven Spielberg were approached early in his career to be like by the government to say, we need your help. We need Hollywood's help. We're going to give you some information of what we've discovered, what's been going on, and we want Hollywood to start making movies and TV shows about aliens to soften the blow for when we actually are able to tell the public that's happening.
Well,
so the idea that Close Encounters and Communion and X-Files,
War of the Worlds,
terrifying movie. All that shit is government funded or government and 2001 and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That all that stuff to soften the eventual acknowledgement that they're here.
War of the Worlds wasn't a softening though. That was like a
well, that
fuck me, man.
And that came from the radio broadcast, which of course, which drove people to kill themselves.
But Werner von Braun, am I saying that right?
Braun.
He worked with Disney. And they
for sure.
Yes,
that's real.
They had a TV
it's
show.
A real,
Okay.
So I mean, that was started way back in the day. So I believe that.
Someone said it. I believe it. I mean,
So actually, the thing that my sister saw.
Yes.
So my brother-in-law was wrong.
Update.
She said it was super fast. It's the Starlink satellite. She said it's really cool.
This is the thing.
That's what it was.
So this is something that's happening too. Is that so many new UFO sightings? But it's satellites.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's satellites. Darren and I were in the desert years ago. And, when you're in Joshua Tree,
cool.
you can see everything in the sky. Mm-hmm. And she had no idea that you could, see satellites in space. And so we probably found 10 in that first night of just, they're everywhere.
I feel like now I can't unsee them.
Yeah.
Like, it's all I can see. But I never knew that.
And so many people are like, UFOs.
Right.
Well, no, it's just there's thousands of space garbage just flying over
But there are
Earth.
different. There are ones that go really. I've seen two that go
satellites.
So fast. No, two things in the not satellites because the satellites you can tell they're going on. They're not real fast. It looks like a plane sort of moving like that.
Yeah.
These ones were like going like that, and it wasn't a shooting star. It was an actual thing. It was so crazy.
Where was that?
Wisconsin, north, way north. Mm-hmm. Wisconsin. I don't know. I mean,
I believe. I'm a believer.
I'm a believer too. And that they think that Sasquatch is actually a form of an alien from a different dimension.
Can't. I don't think.
Well, I never believed
I'm staying open-minded. I can't go down this fucking road.
But listen, I just
I
want to
got
say
a story
this.
about that.
I bet you do.
Yeah. I never believed in that, and we went up north.
Good, you shouldn't. It's not real.
My sister and I took my parents up north, and we went to this cabin, and my sister slept in the living room, and I slept in the room with my mom and dad, and there was like I was in this tiny bed. My parents were in this other bed, and the door was open.
Had to. I'm done.
So gross, unnecessary. So the door was open, and my sister's out in the other room, tiny. All of a sudden, in the middle of the night, my dad wakes up. I was sound asleep, and he goes, "Cassandra, can you tell the girls to stop talking? I just can't." And my mom's like, "What?" And he's like, "Don't you hear that?" My mom goes, "Yeah." And then I heard that, and I woke up. And I woke up, and I was like,
I done woke up.
So I woke up more, and then I heard my mom go, "Oh my God." And my dad goes, "Whoa, what's that?" Now my dad is going blind, so he has a hard time seeing. But what he saw and what my mom saw, they both confirmed. It was a orb, like a huge white light in the corner of the room.
How big?
Like this big.
Well, describe for the people listening.
Like a
baseball.
huge grapefruit. Like a Texas red grape, like a ruby red grapefruit, right? Like that, like that big. And my mom saw it. My mom is not a believer in any of that. She's like, "Well, that's weird." They turned on the light, and my dad was like, "What the hell was that?" And what he heard was just like, and he thought it was my sister and I talking in the living room. And then when he woke up and realized the lights were out, but he saw that orb because he can see bright lights. And he saw this orb, and he, of course, was like, "Oh, that's ridiculous." I don't know what I heard. I heard the TV. My sister's like, "The TV wasn't on." And so
when
my brother,
this
was 2 summers ago.
Oh, recently. Okay.
Yeah. And it was just very bizarre. And then we hear that where we were in Hayward, Wisconsin, is the #1 spot where people see Sasquatch and hear it. And I guess they always say that there's like and watch Unsolved Mysteries. Have you seen Unsolved Mysteries? Yeah. There's the one.
Have you guys heard of this show?
Have you heard of this?
From 35 years ago?
Little show.
Yeah, I never watched it when it.
Wait
when
till
it
you
was
see Phil Donahue. You're going to shit your pants.
Maury Povich. Sally Jesse Raphael.
Oh,
Have you
the
heard
best.
about her with the glasses? She's amazing. No, but there's an episode where they talk to the Navajo guys in New Mexico.
Oh, I watched it. Yeah, I watched that.
Come on. I mean,
I have a tough time.
Anyhow, I did too until I heard what I heard.
I want to believe all this stuff, but I also want to know what the fuck does the orb that makes kid sounds have to do with a Sasquatch?
Because that is what people say they hear before they either see a Sasquatch. Supposedly, allegedly, it's part of like another dimension, and they say it's alien. They say it's from a different dimension.
And Frank, you've heard stuff like this.
Yeah, I interviewed a guy who wrote 2 books on, it's called High Strangeness, volumes 1 and 2. The books specifically deal with Bigfoot sightings that also had a UFO element to them, whether it was people seeing orbs right before, during, or after, or anything like that.
Oh, I just got chills.
So the book actually opens with a story, and this story has police reports to back it up. It happened in the 70s in Pennsylvania. Actually, Pennsylvania is another hot spot for big feet.
I didn't know that.
I guess.
I didn't know as much on the East Coast.
Apparently, there's the mountains, but also some people believe. Well, the people that believe in the flesh and bone theory that Bigfoot is flesh and bone, they believe that that's a migration path. You know, during the winter.
They should hire them for the steel mills out there because they're big and strong.
That they
cheap
could
labor.
Probably, yeah, absolutely. But anyway, so this
migration path like from north to south, or from east to west, or vice versa, or whatever.
I think north to south. I would have to,
And are there
refresh.
ley lines over there as well?
That I don't know for sure. I wouldn't be surprised.
What's a ley line?
Will you explain what it is?
It's
in Wisconsin.
I mean, scientifically, they're called. It starts with a T.
Titties.
Titty lines.
Okay, cool.
Turonic or something like that. It has a scientific name. I can't.
Terrain has to do with terrain.
Yeah, basically, it's places with high concentrations of metals underground. So these metals create some type of magnetism, stuff like that. I mean, without getting in another story, there's some people that believe that back in the 1800s, there were airships. They could use these ley line paths to fly. because the
Like
magnetism,
magnets?
yeah,
Okay.
and some people claim that they made it all the way down to Argentina in these airships.
Wow.
That look like balloons, but obviously, with no
Balloons.
real propellant or anything like
Right.
that. It was just these ley lines. So,
But haven't they tried to do craft that use like anti-magnetic pushes and like you can get it like 10 feet off the ground before it starts flying out of control?
there's some people that believe that the B-2 bomber, which is that the triangular
Yeah.
shape, that some people believe that airplane has some type of anti-gravity piece of equipment that's top secret. And I've heard this from like government people. At the same time, I heard people saying, no, that's totally crazy, because the origins of this particular piece of technology would have to be Roswell if you go down that road, right?
And the B-2 came out in the 80s.
Yeah, but if you look at it, it's an exact replica of the Nazi
The Bell.
Horton the Horton 229, which was
okay.
that wing aircraft.
Okay.
Which, if it would have flown, that was the bomber that Hitler would have sent to New York to drop off a dirty bomb, I guess.
Whoa.
But yeah, so the Germans were definitely, onto stuff. I mean, that's not even talking about the Haunebu craft and the real disc and
Oh, sure.
all the other stuff.
Do you
they
believe that
said.
Hitler was way into the alien UFO shit?
I
mean,
think
it's
it-
been tied together for so long. I wonder.
I think Himmler was really the one behind it. Himmler was just fascinated with the occult.
Do you know I have Himmler's straight razor?
Nice.
Someone gave me that as a gift.
Wow.
Let's do
Anyway.
a seance after this.
Yeah,
and-
it's somewhere next to you,
Yeah.
actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, somewhere over there.
No wonder he kept that 5 o'clock
Close
shadow.
shave, yeah.
Where's my razor?
I mean,
Damn, Dan.
but no, Himmler, I mean, he was building that castle that was modeled after King Arthur's court,
I didn't know this.
Oh, yeah, it's still there.
You ever heard of the Nazi bell, Heidi?
no. Oh, no, that's at the plane?
No, well,
No.
it's a UFO. It's apparently correct me if I'm wrong, Frank. It's
Like the
a reverse
Memphis Belle.
engineered. It was a UFO that was recovered that they were trying to reverse engineer to make their own kind of anti-gravity craft.
Right.
Am I have it right?
I think you got the main points correct, because that's what I remember. What's interesting about the bell was that in the 70s, I want to say, I want to say it's Wisconsin. It was one of those states. There was another Roswell. People call it like a Roswell number 2, where a UFO crashed, and I think it's called a Kecksburg UFO.
Wyoming, possibly.
No, what's it called again?
Kecksburg?
The Kecksburg.
Yeah, also known as like
Maybe that was
the
Tennessee.
acorn shaped UFO. There's a statue in that town for when it crashed. But what's interesting is that this UFO resembled, people saw this thing getting a trailer out of the woods after it crashed.
Kecksburg, Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania.
Jesus.
Fucking ley lines, dude. Telling you.
I know, right? So this UFO just happened to resemble a bell. So a lot of people think that this could have been, like the U.S. messing around with some leftover Nazi tech. Also,
And we did have their guys. We had their scientists.
and also the original bell by accounts from Nazi Germany at the time had some weird writings and symbols on it. And this Kecksburg UFO, people describe seeing some weird symbols on the outside of it.
And this is supposed to be a crash or a shoot down?
Crash.
Okay.
Crash. So yeah, I mean,
Wow.
and this is So this is the interesting part about living in these times, is that when you look at history and you look at objects have been seen throughout the decades, and
I mean, since pre-Jesus. I mean, things have been
If you-
seen.
yeah,
You look at that
in
old
modern times,
religious
yeah.
art where with the UFOs
Yeah.
painted on walls and in beautiful pieces of art.
The
it's
Mayan stuff, too.
Oh, sure.
Looks like
right.
an
Yeah.
alien or
Yeah.
look. It actually looks like an astronaut when they do like
Yes.
the put on the
The helmet and everything.
yeah.
Yeah, no, that's
Wait.
some interesting stuff.
Will
Yeah.
will you finish the thing about the
sorry.
Sasquatch?
Yes. So
No, don't be
this
sorry. No, I
story,
wanna- no.
thank you, because I totally forgot. I'm like, I
Yeah.
hope they don't ask me anything. So I totally forgot what I was talking about. No, but thanks for reminding me. So yeah, so this happened in a farm in the 70s, if I'm not mistaken. It was a family. It was getting dark. I think it was close to sunset. When they all of a sudden saw just this light in the sky just hovering, and then it was like on top of a hill. They see the light come down on the hill. So the eldest son and 2 of his younger siblings decide to go investigate, and he takes his shotgun with blanks, As they get up to the hill, they see this UFO just like out in the open. And all of a sudden they start hearing, and mind you, I want to emphasize again that this is all in a police report. And the police also experience a little bit of this. But okay, here we go. So they get to this clearing where the craft had landed, and all of a sudden they start hearing what sound like babies crying.
Oh, I'm in.
So they get a little freaked out. So
I'm listening.
I know. Believe me, it's. I know it's a lot to wrap your head around. So he looks at the tree line, and out of the tree line, he sees this very tall, hairy. I mean, by all accounts, just like a Bigfoot.
I mean, it could have been an Italian guy.
It could have been.
Let's be real.
Yeah. You know, they've been known to fly UFOs back in the 70s.
Hey.
But so he fires at these beings with the blanks, and he describes that when the blanks hit, he said it sounded like when you throw a pebble in water.
What do you mean when blanks hit? Blanks don't
like
fire.
it was like a cartridge, but it wasn't like lead in it. It was just
like a sand, like a salt round or something.
Something,
Okay.
yeah. The point is, it wasn't nothing lethal.
Wasn't supposed to be
Sound-
penetrative.
Right, correct. So these things began to just kind of like react to this happening, but not in a way that they were scared or anything. They kept walking towards the guy and his two siblings. So they decide to run. They call
what
the
did
police.
it sound like? What did it sound like?
Like a pebble falling into water,
Oh.
like plop, like a plop.
When it would hit their bodies.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. So it wasn't like, I don't know if what we can get from that. It wasn't like a solid beam. Was it like a slime beam? I don't know. But point is,
It's a slimy Italian.
they run down. They call the police. The ship leaves, but when the police get there, a few hours later, they go to where this young man describes seeing this craft, and when they get there, they find that this field is lit up, even though it's close to midnight. And one cop says, "I could read the newspaper just in the glow of that area."
Wow.
Now,
Was there a light source that they could see?
no, it was just like a glow, like an afterglow,
Right.
I guess, right? So a few moments later, this young man begins to convulse and almost like have a seizure and start acting like animal-like, and then he passes out. And they're all like, they're all trying to figure out what's wrong. When he comes back to, he starts describing that he had all these apocalyptic visions, and he starts describing, like floods, earthquakes, end of the world type stuff, right?
What year is this? What era?
70s. Yeah. So, like I said, there's 2 books on this. And,
What's it called again? What are the
High
books?
Strangeness.
High strangeness.
And volumes 1 and 2. And
excited.
yeah, the guy has, he's done a lot of research, and like I said, all the cases there involve a Bigfoot sightings, but not just UFOs, even like ghosts. People that claim to have seen like a dead relative shortly after having a Bigfoot encounter. There's stories from newspapers, one from like 1880 something, of a young boy who was, helping his dad kind of tend to the herd. I think this was in Oregon.
Okay.
And he kind of wanders off looking for one of the sheep that got away. And this kid disappeared for like a few hours. When he, when they find him, he has this crazy story that he was taken by a Bigfoot to his underground home. And inside this kind of underground cave, he describes, seeing like the ceiling had all these like intricate like stones, like kind of like, just pressed into it. And apparently this creature left him in one of the rooms, I guess. And
I knew you were about to do something.
I'll be back, baby.
And went off to do whatever Bigfoot do.
I've been feeling fine, baby.
And and at that moment, I guess this young girl appears.
More like big cock, you know what I'm saying?
And the young girl hands him a paper saying that, if he doesn't leave now, he's going to be stuck there forever like she is.
Oh, Jesus,
so
fuck.
she kind of gives him a warning, and he kind of finds his way out. Like, apparently he describes even hearing music inside this cave. So, like I said, the whole book just deals with like all of these, things that we really can't explain. But we can't. I think at another time I probably would have dismissed a lot of it, but the world is such a crazy place nowadays where I'm like, hey, I don't want to dismiss anything too quickly.
So you are a Bigfoot believer.
But
I think believing, I just heard this and I like what they said. I think believing implies that there's faith involved. But I feel...
How so? What do you mean?
Well, it means that there is no proof, but I believe that there's something out there. However, I think we have a lot of good evidence by way of like the footprints, the hair, the DNA, all of these accounts, I think there is a strong case for there being some type of, large creatures in the forest. And I mean, when you look at the forest, it's like the ocean.
Yeah.
Like
Absolutely.
wilderness.
Of course.
Right?
Of course.
So, of course, and somebody brought up a good point. He's
But
like,
no bodies?
bear...
No bodies?
How many times have you bumped into a bear carcass in the
I
woods?
never have. I've never also bumped into a dead body, but I know they exist.
But
Right.
But
look at all the missing
by the same
people.
logic.
But we also know
by the
bears
same
exist.
logic,
We have found bear carcasses. We have bear bones. We have that stuff.
and just like bears, we have the footprints, we have the hairs. It's the same evidence we collect for bears, right?
Sure.
So if we go by that evidence, then we should then
But not a
safely,
bone?
as said,
Not a bone?
I think that, some people have claimed to have found not bones of Bigfoot, but for example, like feeding pits, where they found like large
Sure.
carcasses, and no animal could go through these many animals, and I guess like teeth marks on bones and things like that. It had to be some large creature, yada yada yada, right?
Yeah.
So
you mean Yeti, Yeti, Yeti.
Yeti.
Yes!
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeti.
Although that's the snow cousin
Of course.
Bigfoot,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
But in China they had Bigfoot. Obviously the First Nations people here, there's so many stories about Bigfoot, even just, treating them like as a people.
No, yeah, of course.
So, were all of these people smoking the same thing over the
They
centuries?
were.
Or,
But
you know?
I know, and I want to believe that stuff too, but like I need, what is the DNA? You said DNA evidence. What is
Right.
the DNA evidence and what does the DNA show?
There's so many people that have claimed to have hit a Bigfoot, for example, just out driving, and it's like they go and check their car for damage, and there's hair, and you look at
course.
this hair.
I saw hair in the Hendersons. I know. Yeah.
Compared to humans and dogs, bears, stuff like that, and you can clearly see. I mean, if memory serves, I believe Bigfoot hair doesn't have any breaks. It's like almost like this perfect cylinder.
Yeah, there was actually a I'll find it. I'll send it to you.
Okay.
A site where they have they went through and
Yeah, and it's almost like serves as camouflage because it reflects the light in a certain way. Like it's very interesting. Once you
which
kinda
also makes it sort of possible that it is an alien sort of form because it like the technology of their or not technology but their hair and everything where they're on like invisible.
I mean, and again, in those books, they interviewed people who were taking on board a UFO, and they claim to have seen Bigfoot inside the UFO, right? So, I feel though that this whole like Bigfoot being some type of interdimensional creature, if we want to go down that road, has definitely picked up steam because it's almost like the only way that this creature could be out there and none of us see it, And another thing that I heard quite a bit about, in regards to Bigfoot, is people that are out in the woods and claim to have seen something that looks like a cloaked figure, like the Predator, swinging from trees, literally, and it's not like a small creature; it's like a big creature.
There you go. Very good.
And right, which makes you wonder if Predator was in that list of movies of like, hey, let's prepare people.
Interesting.
And,
well, I mean,
that's an alien,
where, exactly. Where do they come up with these things? Think about it. All through the years. And the X-Files.
Someone came up with God, by the way. I mean,
X-Files is actually every case is from supposedly
loosely
allegedly,
based on
fucking real shit
Yep.
that happened.
I will go along with this for 1 second with the
Yeah.
Bigfoot thing. The only thing that makes me think like, okay, there's no bodies is that idea that they're not a solid form. That's a little interesting to me.
It definitely
if
If
is.
they are like a liquid being
Yeah.
or some kind of like sludgy apparition, okay. If I can suspend disbelief enough, that explains why there'd be no body. But
Well, you know, the
have a
weird
tough time with it.
I didn't believe it either until what I heard and saw. I didn't see the orb. My mom and dad did, but what I heard was I did hear like voices, like little kid voices, and my dad thought it was my sister and I wouldn't have believed it if then I went and I looked up all these stories and they're almost all the same. They hear the voices, like they heard the baby crying, but we heard like little kid talk, beep, 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 beep. And then there was an orb, and then it was just weird. It was so weird.
Have you
It was
guys heard
same
of the Sierra sounds?
no.
No.
Okay, so the Sierra sounds that were recorded in
Sounds like a cool band.
I know, right? Actually,
Yeah.
hey Dan, you gave
There
me
you
an
go.
idea there.
Yep.
Sierra sounds. Let me start my Facebook page.
Do it. I just grabbed it.
Yeah.
It is
Oh,
no longer available.
darn.
I'll give it to you for $500.
The Sierra sounds with a Z at the end.
Sierra Sound Machine.
Yeah, there you go. So back in the 70s, there was a group of just outdoorsmen that would go to this part of the Sierra Nevadas that was pretty far removed from, the touristy spots or whatever. And they would go there during the summer. And at one point, at night, they would start hearing like this very menacing...
Yes, I know this. Sorry, go on.
Someone's excited.
Because there's actually, okay, go on.
Yeah.
Oh, I know this.
So they began to just record these weird like howls and hoots and hollerings that didn't sound like wolves or any
And a
normal
lot of them
animal.
were cops. A lot of them were policemen.
They
and
were
state troopers
they were
and
there were guys that would know
Yeah.
what was out there. So one night, or I guess over the course of I think maybe a couple of years, they recorded these sounds from a shelter they built to keep themselves safe
Inside a tree.
Yeah, it was inside a
Yep.
tree, right?
Yep.
So they record these sounds, and it just sounds like nothing like
Some of our best.
Go ahead.
good, like at least nothing like I've ever heard before. What was also crazy was that at one point, you hear a lot of Bigfoot people talk about the wood knocks, right? And that's an intimidation tactic, I guess, that these creatures use, right? They'll, grab a piece of wood and hit it against a tree. And what's crazy is that when I was listening to this thing, right? Like I play baseball, very, here and there. But one thing I know is like the sound that a baseball bat makes when it makes contact.
Yeah, the crack of the bat.
And the force that needs to go behind it.
Yeah.
Whatever was making those wood knocks, I'm surprised the tree didn't knock down
The
because
Red Sox need some hitters this year. I wouldn't mind if they grabbed a couple Sasquatch.
I think
crank
they
some
need
bombs.
to look into the woods for their next.
There's actually, there was a show that I just watched. Was it? It wasn't Unsolved Mysteries. It was something, and it was all about those guys, and they would camp every summer,
Right.
and at night they started to hear the. I mean, and they also took it to a
Navy linguistic.
sound engineer too, and the pitches that it were. They're like,
Oh, right. Yeah,
remember, there's no way a human
Right.
made these. Like they took it and analyzed it.
Yeah,
it's
I guess
so
the
fucking cool.
when they analyzed the sounds, they said that the vocal chamber or the resonance chamber of the creature, it would have to belong to a creature about like 10, 12 feet tall, right?
Because of how deep or
Ooh,
how
I got
strong it
little
was.
chills.
Now the other thing was that they also took that recording. Oh, I don't think they took it. I think just a Navy linguistics expert grabbed the copy of these things, started analyzing it, got in touch with the guys and said, hey, I used to work in the Navy breaking like top secret codes and stuff like. He's like, this is a language. Like there's communication happening
So cool.
between these creatures.
Like the way whales communicate or all that kind of stuff.
Well, at one point you hear what's been dubbed samurai speak, because it almost sounds like when you watch like a samurai movie and just like and they have this very right. You hear that in the
Racist.
middle.
I know, I'm kidding. You're totally right.
you hear that. You hear that in the middle of all these like strange howls and stuff, and fairly close. It sounds like those are closer now. Why would Bigfoot be doing that? There are some people that believe that Bigfoot it's like a lot of creatures do mimicry, right? Whether it's for safety or whatever, right?
Like the way cats learn how to meow
Right.
to copy the sound of a baby that gets attention.
So back in the gold rush era, right, when you had a lot of people and a lot of Chinese immigrants, particularly, people believe that because a lot of the gold was being dug in areas that we now consider Bigfoot territory. Some people believe that Bigfoot may have picked up, heard people talk, and they just mimic it, and they were trying to, get some type of interaction. Now, in the recording, if you find it, you actually hear the guys trying to communicate with the Bigfoot. Obviously, they're just
So cool.
imitating the sounds, not really
Because
saying
they
anything.
can't recreate
Right.
the sound. Okay.
But you can hear there is definitely like an interaction there. And like I said, yeah, the Sierra sounds were definitely, and that's what I mean. It's like I feel like there's enough evidence that if we put it just all together,
Right.
we can safely say, okay, there's got to be some type of creature in the woods causing all of these different things to happen.
What's unfortunate to me is that then they have these people that they have these shows that are like, yeah, there's a Sasquatch, I'm gonna get, and it's
It
the
ruins
same-
credibility for
yes,
things.
But I feel like they do it on purpose. And then like back in the day when they'd be like, I saw a UFO and then I got on board. You know what I mean? They have like 2 teeth in their mouth, and you're like, oh, okay, crazy person. They like discredited people just because they knew.
If you want to believe in the government conspiracy stuff, they love that more than anything else because it makes the whole thing seem crazy.
Yeah.
That's part of the disinformation,
Yes.
whole disinformation campaign that people talk about.
Yes.
That I don't know if I believe in, but it's not. I wouldn't bet my life against it either.
Right. Right.
I do believe disinformation is a huge part of national security too.
Of course.
Yeah, I see it almost like the equivalent of, when the cops are trying to find like a, serial killer or something, they will never say,
Don't give in. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
I
like,
know,
we
guy.
don't know how, and then one day it's like, oh, we caught him.
Right.
Yeah, because
Of course, the government has no duty to tell us what
You
they
said
know.
duty.
I sure said duty. I did say duty.
You have no duty.
Good stuff.
Wait,
but they have
did
no.
you find him? Oh, sorry.
I was trying to find
No.
the Sierra sounds, but it's all like 20-minute videos, so I don't know.
yeah,
I
that's
can't
about
find
the
one.
length of it.
But you should go in the middle and just listen.
That's what I was trying to do. Let me try to find
Because
one.
it's eerie.
I feel like I have heard
What is
it
that
before.
show? I'm trying to think of the show I saw where it was all about that.
The Bullshit Express.
Some of our best videos.
No.
Okay, let's see if we can find some stuff here. Disturbance.
Yeah, you're right though. There's so much evidence on that, especially with the DNA stuff that they analyze and the hair and it's just the footprints.
Right.
My sister is friends with all those guys now on like the Sasquatch shows because they go to all the conventions.
Oh,
and
right.
my brother-in-law is like a celebrity kind of in that world, and so she met a lot of the people that are
Nice.
that are not on those shows, but like
Right, like the real
Yeah.
people. Yeah.
yeah.
But then people have also shown how you can how people can recreate
Of
the
course,
stuff
yeah.
and
No, I
it's just a
understand.
tough one. It's so
those
tough.
and some of those shows are so ridiculous. Like, what's the guy Zach on Ghost Adventures? He's
boy.
so extreme. You know what I mean? Like,
I was just-
oh my god, I heard the sound. Like
I
they
was
get
just
so
at his
crazy.
haunted museum in Las Vegas.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, it's
I adore
it's
him.
a
I think
cool,
he's so
it's a cool
cute.
collection. But I think at one point it was a lot. He had some a room dedicated to this serial killer. And it's like, look, I'm morbidly fascinated with a lot of things, right?
Yeah.
But in this particular room, he had like the bed where some serial killer like tortured and killed people.
Ew.
But the thing is that
I'm listening.
the bed sheets still have like blood and shit on it from like the last victim.
I doubt that's real.
And
It's
Is this
real.
it?
It's real.
That's it.
Oh.
That's the samurai speak.
All right, I'm sold. I'm in.
Those are the guys.
Trying to talk to it. Jump ahead a little bit.
That's the guy imitating.
Okay.
Now, picture yourself in the middle of the woods in 1970s.
Sure.
Listen, you know, and you hear, if you hear the recording later, you hear the guys talking. It's like, I think they're just across the bluff. Or
Yeah,
they're
they sounded so close.
They're close.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and you hear these guys like, oh shit. Like in one of the interviews, the guy says like they were expecting them to just like break through their little barrier and just start pulling them out.
Right.
You know, like that's how real.
I've also
it
heard
was.
stories
Yeah.
of people having like a Sasquatch like throwing rocks at you, trying to get you out of there.
Yeah.
Again, I think they'd be amazing athletes if you could just harness that energy, get them to play football or
Yeah.
baseball.
Yeah. Well, they're great runners. One of the characteristics.
It's a big stride.
It's a big stride, but also is their feet. I believe that it's called the mid-tarsal break, which is, you know, like ours is further to the front, you know, near our toes. Theirs is like smack dab in the middle of the sole of their foot. I'm sure that helps.
Oh,
you
wow.
know,
So they like can go like.
yeah.
their
So
feet,
it's like if you take your feet and you could fold it at the halfway.
Like springboard,
Christ.
the way like a cheetah's leg or something, or
Yeah.
the dog's
Yeah, I mean,
back
they've
legs.
seen them, you know, climbing trees and doing. Yeah. They're definitely agile for such a large creature. Yeah.
Did you see that video I sent you of the guy hunting? Have you seen
We
that?
watched.
It's a
We showed it on the show.
recent one.
Yeah, we showed it on the show where the thing turns and looks at him, and the guy runs away.
Yeah,
Man.
he gets so scared. But that was really bizarre. That was a bizarre thing.
It's bizarre, but here's the problem now with technology and AI and deep fakes is like video evidence means nothing anymore, which sucks.
Right.
It almost means nothing. You know, we're gonna get
I
to the
agree.
point where like videos in court aren't gonna hold up because like
Right.
you can do anything on your phone. But it's interesting. I just like we're so truth is pretty soon not going to be a thing anymore. Truth is no like what's truth? I mean, who knows?
My kind of world. Know what I'm talking about?
Heidi's been there for 30 years.
I've been waiting for this for a while.
so-
What is truth? My new podcast.
In summation, do we think that these craft are going to keep being shot down now that we've enhanced radar? Or do we think we're going to hear anything else about them and their origin?
If I can speak truthfully, I think we're gonna hear about him until the next big news happens.
I
What do you
think
mean?
I think it's look over here, look over here, look over here.
I
While
feel like
shit
there's
is
a bit of
happening.
that. I feel like there's a bit of that going on, and then, you know, tomorrow something else is going to happen. And just like when the UFOs, you know, when the government, the Pentagon said, hey, yeah, there's stuff out there that we don't know about, and people moved on within a week.
Right.
Same thing.
Right. But people don't care.
They don't.
So then if that's the case, then why? Then do we think the diversion aspect is going to work if people don't care?
What they didn't prepare, if that was if that was their goal, what they didn't prepare for was people shorten attention spans due
Yeah.
to social media.
No attention
because
span?
TikTok.
nowadays,
And
yeah,
no one
Yep.
believes anything, and they believe everything.
it's true.
So it's
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
tough.
Exactly.
It's a tough crowd.
That's
It's
what
a tough crowd.
exactly.
My kind of world.
Exactly. Heidi, I know you don't want to get out of here without getting into some New World Order stuff.
Oh yeah.
I want to know, what do you think the end game is for New World Order? What is the point of it, and what will that look like?
I have to say, because I never believed any of it, because one of my best friends is very into it. And so every time she would say anything, I'd be like, that's ridiculous. And then something would come true, and I'd be like, what the fuck? Like, you kidding me? And I still I feel like I'm not well versed on it, but I think what they want to happen is one government, governed. So
In the
like
world.
China, or like just we're run by we're just part of this government that's like, you know, we're just like robots going about our business. Isn't that what do you tell me?
I feel like. Go ahead, Frank. So I feel.
Yeah,
Will
I
you
mean,
help me,
it's very rooted in New Testament, like Revelations, right? There's a lot of talk in there about this one world government and, you know, one coin, you know, one currency, blah 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 blah. I think that's where a lot of those roots come from. The thing is, and you know, going back to World War II, it doesn't matter if we don't believe it. It matters if the people in power believe it, right? And look at Himmler. Like I said, he was the one really into the occult, and look at what became of that government because of one guy, right? Hitler, Hitler, believe me, he's as guilty as sin.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But obviously, you know, it just goes to
Allegedly.
show. Allegedly?
Allegedly.
Allegedly. We haven't even talked about him, you know, dying in Argentina.
True.
Yeah.
It's a whole other show,
It's a
which I
whole
could talk
other
about
show,
for
yeah.
hours.
Oh my God.
Yeah, right?
Heidi, careful.
Listen, he did not. There was no sign of his body or anything.
Well,
That-
it was
well, it was
also
proven
under
that-
rubble, wasn't it?
Well, it was
Or
proven that
the body was
the
a
cranium
female.
was a female, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and plenty of people in Argentina claim to have
Yep.
seen him.
Here's
So-
the thing about the one world
Yep.
government, though. I feel like I think ego and religion will keep that from ever actually being a real thing. Like, because
know.
every country, especially a country with a superpower, has its own ego attached. Like the U.S. thinks we're the smartest military, the smartest government, but like China also believes that. Russia believes it. Germany believed it for a long time, but none of them have ever been able to actually take over and get everyone to like come on board. Like,
Listen.
we got to figure it out. Come on board. There's no way that the U.S., China, and Russia will ever agree on like, okay, let's do this together. No, they're not going to work together.
I didn't
There's
think
no
so
ego.
either.
I think also we just have to also ask the question: what is the definition of, or what will that one world government look like? I mean, I feel like we all have, you know, notions of what it could look like theories of what it could look like, but I mean, could it be already in effect and we're just not knowing?
Look at what happened during the pandemic. Look at everyone got on board. Everything shut down, especially out here.
Yeah.
And everybody did what they were told and did. We stayed in. Everything was. I think that was a way of seeing how it would happen. And a majority of people fell in line and were like, okay, I'm going to stay at home. I'm locked down. Oh my God, it's this. I'm going to wear this mask. I'm going to get this vaccine. I'm going to do all this shit because and now it's coming out little by little. But I think that was like preparation to
maybe.
see how much you could get people. Look at what's
And
happening
apparently-
in China. They're locking down that whole fucking
Sure.
place.
But with the global lockdown thing, it's a great point. You make a good point. But the thing is, like, that really only lasted about everyone being on the same page for a few months.
Right, because then people were like, fuck that. And,
That's what I mean.
and
So
sit-
I don't
yeah.
think people would fall in line, and I still don't think that the governments would work together enough. Like, who's gonna?
It's like in the Last
superpowers.
of Us.
The superpowers right now would be North Korea, as far as like fear and military. North Korea, Russia, China, the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
Which one of them is going to cave and like give over their way of life and their thoughts to the other? None of those are going to cave into to anybody. You know what I mean?
True. What do you think?
I don't know. It's
Well,
tough. I don't see it happening.
I you know, as far as like the new world order, that kind of thing, you know, I think there is some truth to it, but at the same time, you know, a lot of it just has to do with what, you know, the normal evolution of politics and governments would be. One thing that I do want to point out is that, and this, you know, again, just kind of taking it back to the olden days, you know, there's a high number of Freemasons in government, right? And, you know, there's this infamous brotherhood. One thing that a lot of people seem to agree on is that any country whose flags have the color red, white, and blue, it's a Masonic country. So that's why I was asking, you know, we need to really kind of think about what this new world order would look like, or are we in it now? Because how many countries fall under that criteria?
I don't know how many. Do you know?
Wow.
I mean, France, England, the U.S., most Latin American countries. You know, you can literally just go around the world, right?
Interesting.
So yeah, like I said, there could be a form of a one world government, if you will. I mean, look at the United Nations. A lot of people love to point fingers in their direction when talking about one world governments, right? But yeah, I mean, do I think it's going to turn into some, you know, evil thing, and you know, people are going to be put
Are we
in
going to be
concentration
enslaved?
camps?
Yeah,
right,
of course.
you
I
know.
don't think so, but
Then what's the point? If we're
But
not
look
going to be
at-
enslaved, what is the
I think
point? What do they want?
Power.
They already have it.
That's the thing.
How
It's
much more
that-
power could the governments
They
of
could
the
have a
world
lot.
have?
It's like a drug addict.
They take all of our
It's
money.
like a drug addict where like it's just there's never enough.
Right. Okay.
You know.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
And again, let's look at World War II Germany. You know, it was never enough. Oh,
Allegedly.
This country.
Okay.
But yeah, so yeah, like I said, it's like you made a really good point about like, well, you know, when lockdown and then people just had it, and you really got to factor human nature, right? And our human nature is that greed, you know, especially when it comes to power, money, blah blah blah, right? So never at least, you know, good rule of thumb is just never underestimate somebody's greed.
And entitled little shits of teenagers nowadays, you're never gonna get them to do anything they're told.
Oh yeah,
That's true.
The lack of discipline, like there's just unless it comes down to like literally slaughtering your own people that don't fall in line. That's the only way it could work. But I don't see it. I don't see it. But for the sake of industrial music and the cool songs that come out of the idea of New World Order, I'm into it.
Right?
I'm into it. Anything else in close? I mean, this has been a really, really fun show. We could literally do this once a month.
I'm excited to go watch all these shows.
Once you watch that Dark Secrets inside Bohemian Grove, then I think your theory of the New World Government is going to take on a new form. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on it.
Ooh, let's get back together and talk about
Do you think it's going to...
You've seen that, right, Dan?
I don't think I have.
Oh, come on, really?
It
I feel like
sounds familiar.
we've talked about it before.
We could have. We very, very well could have.
I really think when when the lockdown happened, you know, I was scared. I was not scared, but like, what the fuck is going on? Like, everything is shut down, this and that. And then everybody who fell in line and sort of not believed, because I'm not going to say everything's like bad. And I have the vaccine, but the fact that everything, just look at how everybody followed in line and did their thing and didn't ask questions. And if you did, holy shit, you're crazy.
Maybe, but also maybe it was the first time that like the world kind of agreed on something. Where everyone like for the first time ever, we don't know what this is yet, and we're kind of on the same boat. Can we agree to like and for the most, it's the first time I can't think of the last time.
It's like truce,
kind of like everyone kind of agreed
more.
to pause for a second.
You're right.
Maybe it's conspiracy, or maybe it was.
Think about that though.
Oh boy,
the whole world agreed to pause for a minute and shut down.
But maybe it
to
was
see
actually
what
for
was going to happen and how it would work and who would stay in line and who and how long. Now you made a twist. Now you made a twist of like to see how it would go along. But it's possible.
I still think this whole COVID thing, it was a conspiracy concocted by Uber, Zoom, Postmates.
Yeah, Zoom and Postmates. Amazon.
Look at who got rich. Walmart.
Bezos.
Amazon. Yeah.
Think about it. Think about it.
It was, and it's from, and actually what was funny is when Biden came into office, then they came out and said, yeah, we're pretty sure it was made in a
lab.
A lab. And I knew that from the beginning. I told my sister, I said, this doesn't make sense. She's like, I know, I think it was man-made. Yes, it was. So it's like, just it all.
But that doesn't mean anything. We make shit all the time. It still could have gotten out on by accident.
Sure.
That shit happens a lot.
That's why they have the video. I can't find it anymore. I wish I would have recorded it, but it was like two doctors who were the whistleblowers. One of them died. He was 35. Yeah, he had COVID.
He was in the
and the
thick
other
of
one
it.
has never been seen again. It was this girl. And I'll show you. I watched the videos of him on his dying bed going, I'm sorry. I tried to. And then it was gone. Who knows? That could have been an actor. It could have been, but it was interesting. It's not. You can't find it online anymore.
And it really is tough to weed through stuff nowadays. Because everything can be presented on like, it's on this website. This seems legit. This is paperwork and documents. Look how legit it looks. It's so hard to sift through and figure it out on all things.
Yep.
Are we even here right now?
Right.
All right.
Are we in a simulation?
I also think
Frank.
Man, do we really want to go down that road? Right?
Yes, we are. I also think an argument can be made that all we do is try to see who falls in line with things. I mean, what is every single person in here?
That's why I
using
hate you
as
so
a
much.
Phone.
Literally.
We're all using an iPhone.
Yeah.
Look at TikTok. They emulate the fucking weirdest dances in the world by the millions.
In China,
It's just all an experiment. Like it's all. I mean, it's all about power and greed.
But
that's what everything is.
And TikTok is from China. Who in China
and racial card.
No.
But
But in China, they have the same thing named a different thing because TikTok, they've banned what they show over here and over there for the young kids. It's building homes,
And also-
it's math, it's all these beautiful like learning things
to make their
it's an actual
to
actual
help
thing.
their people and make us stupider, which
Yes.
is a good point.
Yes,
and also
crazy.
I could be wrong, but I think when you sign up for TikTok, the amount of information you give over to TikTok is more than almost any other app as
It's
far as the access they have to your
I've
information.
never been on it.
So when
Yeah,
Trump was in
it's
office,
crazy.
when he was actually talking about banning TikTok, it was the first time I was like, "That's not a bad idea, sir."
Yes, there were.
I don't
There were
don't
a
hate
few
that
things
idea.
He said were that
Yeah,
were
and then
like,
when he bombed the not the is it the Syrian
no, it's
runway?
Iran.
Iran.
Oh
no, it was Syria, right?
But also,
I was down with that.
Yeah.
I went out to just as really quick. I went out to lunch with my boyfriend like when Trump was in office, so a while ago, and he's from Iran. And he goes, Iranian people, all of them,
good, thank
love Trump. And I go, bullshit. And he goes,
Because they're
especially the young
misogynists.
kids. I said, bullshit. No. And he called over this young guy who just got there from Tehran. And he said, hey, do you love Trump? I love Trump because Trump went and killed the whatever that guy's name was, who was torturing and murdering people. And he did that. And the Iranians were given, like the ones on TV, this is crazy, but this kid said to us, he said they were offering them money to talk badly about the US and Trump, and people were taking the money because they're so poor. So, but he said, we love Trump because of what he did. He was trying to free us in the mulads or muhads or whatever their names are. What is their name?
Careful, you're probably doing
Mujahideen.
some kind of slang. Just be
No, at the
The Mujahideen, I believe it's.
yeah, they're like it's
Moulin-
like
It's like
Moulin
the ruling
Rouge.
class.
Moulin Rouge.
Ruling class.
the
yeah.
Moulin Rouge.
yeah, the Moulin Rouge.
But is
Hey, sister, soul, sister.
is ruling
Gotta
over
get
there,
the dose.
and hence why that girl was killed because she wore her hijab off or whatever. It's awful what they're doing.
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
Trump wanted to end that, and that was, I mean, that's why Iranians are a lot of them are more Republican, more right wing when they come over here because they see that's what they want is. So anyhow, I
I mean,
learned
this
that.
is
I
the place
couldn't
to be.
believe it. Yeah,
This is the place to be.
yeah.
Let's be real.
Sorry. This has
Do you
been
think-
a great podcast.
I agree. I loved
you
it.
haven't told me to be
been fun.
quiet.
No,
yet.
I told you. Like, no. Because this is the episode for all your crazy bullshit.
Oh my god.
I told you to let your freak flag fly
Listen,
tonight.
I used to think it was crazy until the stuff I heard all came true, and I was like, oh shit.
Well,
What?
yeah.
Just saying. It all came true.
Except for all the stuff that doesn't,
Yeah.
No, no.
Just saying. Just think about it. Think about it.
Right. None of it has
I
not
researched.
come true.
This has been great. Frank, where can people find you?
I don't know if people are still on Twitter. I feel like that kind of.
I'm still into
Oh,
it.
it's,
Is it?
yeah, it's back on.
Dude,
Oh, really?
UFO Twitter is going off.
Oh, no way.
UFO
Okay.
Twitter, like, do you ever follow hashtags on Twitter?
No,
You know how
I
you
used
can,
to, but
you know how you
I
can like subscribe to like people. You
Right.
can also follow certain hashtags.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Follow UFO Twitter. Holy fucking
Really?
shit! Yeah,
So good.
Yes,
Oh my god. I'm gonna
gotta-
follow Sasquatch.
we gotta show you
Twitter.
some videos, Heidi. Some crazy shit.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Yeah, I got to get back into it.
you can. You're at Engineer Frank.
Engineer Frank on Twitter, and you can find my
Instagram.
Instagram there as well. Yeah.
Are you on
linked.
MySpace?
Yes, I actually am.
I wish MySpace would come back.
Squatch
Remember
Space?
Yeah.
when you could put a song?
Yes.
Oh, and you went to your page and a song started playing.
You know what the grossest part was? Like the top 8 friends. Like you would fight to get in the top 8.
Well, and then they
yeah.
made it like top 16.
It's like, wait a minute, whoa.
Yeah.
It's
Then-
like
then your whole friends
participation.
list
It
could be
became
that, yeah.
participation trophies of friends and
Yeah.
shit.
Awesome.
Heidi, good to see you and let you
Good to
let
see
you
you.
run
Thank you.
rampant tonight.
Thank
It's
you.
been fun. I do want to do more of these kind of shows. These are fun. We gotta
Yeah, no, I had a
some.
blast.
We gotta do some more stuff.
I'm
with
gonna
Frank.
let's watch all this stuff and then come back and talk about it.
Okay. Okay, we got to have you
Dark
here more
secret.
often.
Yeah.
And then when you get your new show up and running, I first of all, I cannot wait to see it. I loved West of the
thank you.
Rockies. Is
What's
it
West of the
That's
Rockies?
That's his old show. That's his old podcast
nice.
and show. Is that all archived anywhere? Is that still
Yeah,
up?
it's
Still on
Hopefully,
Apple and Spotify?
It's on Amazon Music as well. You can tell Alexa to play that thing.
Okay.
It's kind of fun.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Alexa.
How many shows did you end up doing? Do you know how many shows you did?
Oh man, here's the thing. I only posted the shows where I had a guest. I never posted the shows where it was just me going on because I don't think anybody wants to.
Oh, dude, people love your shit.
But yeah, so I don't know. I started in 2011.
Okay.
Consistently up until 2019, 2020. But yeah, should be getting back on that. And like I said, yeah, there's a new show that should be coming out pretty soon. I'm actually editing the show, so I'm trying to get that finalized. But yeah, there should. Yeah, there should
Can
be
you
some
share
cool
a
stuff.
name for you, or do you keep the name to yourself for a minute?
No. The name, actually, my friend came up with the name. He thought it was hilarious. It's called Nocturnal Emissions.
Oh my god!
Yeah. So, yeah, it should be a fun time. I just laugh because it's meant to
Wet
be.
dreams.
It's meant to be a more family friendly show. And I'm like, you really want to go with that name? It's like, yeah, people will love it. I'm like, okay.
That's pretty. It's going to be it's video and everything too, right?
Yeah. It'll be a video.
YouTube.
The set's being built this
Ooh.
week.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. So it's a big it's a big operation.
It's you and another guy.
Just me.
Oh, it is just you.
Yeah.
Please-
There might be a co-host. I don't know.
Please
But
come
yeah.
in and promote and.
But I'll need to have you guys on, especially
Would
Heidi,
love
to
to.
talk.
I know. I feel so bad. I was so
Do you know-
bad at like. I was going through a weird time, and when you wanted me to come on.
Oh,
that show,
yeah.
and then I never got
you're-
back to you.
No. You're good.
I talked to Frank
It's-
like a year ago. I said I told Frank I want him to have his own segment on the show of Frank's Conspiracy Corner. But now I feel like the two of you might have to have a little like once a month,
Yeah.
a 5-10 minute like just no rules.
Like an SNL weekend report.
I'll step
SNL
outside.
Weekend update.
I'll take a shower when you guys are.
Frank and Heidi's month update of weird shit that's
Conspiracy
happening.
Corner.
man.
Yes.
Yeah, we want to do it.
That
Yes,
could
you
work.
wanna do
That
it?
could work. Yeah,
Just
yeah,
a little
yeah.
5-10
Absolutely.
minute thing
Yeah,
once
yeah.
a month. I would love it, or once
No,
every couple months.
I'm down. I'm down.
Yeah.
Heidi's
10, 15
Heidi's
minutes.
my kind of crazy. Yeah.
Heidi would rather it be 30 to 50 minutes per week on the regular show, I think. Frank, it's been great to see you.
Oh, thank you for having me, guys. No, I really
There's so much
appreciate
stuff, more stuff I wanted to cover, but we'll have to do it again.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Sorry
well,
if I went on too many.
Oh
No,
my
this is fun. This has
God.
been wonderful.
No.
This is literally why I wanted you to be here.
Yeah, keep going. What are you talking about?
Heidi's
guys.
been thrilled from the minute one of this. I love it.
I'm just like, and then what?
It's good to see
know,
you.
right?
It's good to see her happy finally. You know what I mean? It's been 2 years of her waiting to come out of her shell. No, I love it.
cool.
Thank you, Frank.
Thank you, guys.
Heidi.
Thank you.
Thank you, Darren. Heidi, if people want to support the show, what do they do?
You go to patreon.com/rareformradio.
Unfucking believable. It's the first time she's gotten it right. First time she's gotten it right.
I'm glad I was here to see it.
Allegedly.
Frank, I never played your fucking theme song while you were here.
Oh,
Shit. Remember this I did for you? Where is it? Oh, motherfucker, here it is.
Oh yeah, I haven't heard
This
this.
is
in a
Frank's
while.
Mysteries.
Yes.
Ooh.
So whenever Frank
Wow,
would
that-
start going on his wild tangents of interdimensional. Wait, what was the headline that Todd wouldn't let you forget? Was it interdimensional time traveling Yetis?
Yeah. That's
Is that
the
what it
one.
was?
Yeah, interdimensional
Oh.
time traveling.
Frank came in
forgot
one
about
time.
that.
Frank came into Dark Matter once, or maybe it was Rare Form, and he wanted to talk about, quote, interdimensional time traveling Yetis, and we almost lost our shit laughing so much. Like, Frank, what
Fast forward.
the fuck are you talking about,
Fast
Frank?
forward these many years, and now look at people talk about interdimensional Yetis.
Yeah, there's other
I
crazies.
just-
I mean, you guys all find each other.
mean,
It's great.
Wow.
It was bound
Guys,
to happen.
I love you both. Thank you for being here, and we will do this again for real.
Yeah,
we
for
can't.
sure.
This can't be this big of a break between Frank being in here. Our listeners love you, except for the
thank you.
ones that hate you, but
Yeah, of course.
mostly they. No, I'm kidding. So we'll be back next week with a new episode. Thank you, Heidi, and thank you, Frank, very much.
Thank you, guys.
At Engineer Frank on Instagram and Twitter. Live long and prosper. Beam
The
me
truth
up.
is out there.
The truth is out
Listen,
there. I believe.
I look like Scully for when I was younger. I
Yep.
got called Scully constantly.
I
You
can
did-
see that.
X-Files.
because you look like what's her face.
Gillian
Gillian?
Anderson.
Yeah.
Gillian.
Gillian or Gillian?
We're almost done with the show, but Heidi's got a story to tell. She had a chance
This is Lola, and I'm here to tell the world to stop being such pussies and listen to Rare Form Radio.